We're going to continue graphing piecewise functions. Remember, the first thing that we want to do is we want to have a visual of the equation that we're graphing. This one right here is an exponential, and it's an exponential growth, so I know it's going to look similar to that. What I want to do is start with my domain, which in this case is 0. So I'm going to start with the number 0. When I plug in a 0, 3 to the 0 is 1. Number greater than 0 would be 1. 3 to the 1 is 3. And when I plug in a 2, 3 squared is 9. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph my square root function. With my square root function, once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Then I'm going to pick a number less than 0. I'm not going to pick negative 1, because negative 1 plus 4 is 3, and I don't know the square root of 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in negative 3, because negative 3 plus 4 is 1, and the square root of 1 is 1. And the next one is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Square root of 0 is 0. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plot my points. And with the red, what I have is 0, 1. So I'm going to put an open circle because it's greater than, not greater than or equal to. I have 1, 3, and 2, 9 is way up there. So I'm going to make my line curve similar to this right here, and it keeps on going up. Now with my second one, I know it's a square root function, so I know it looks something similar to this. That's in the back of my mind. It starts at 0, 2. So what I'm going to do is plot a closed circle at 0, 2. I have negative 3 and 1, and I have negative 4 and 0. Now this one's a little bit different than other ones because what we're doing is getting the tail end of this. Notice that there's no arrow at the back, so this one right here is just going to look like a segment. There's no arrows because it doesn't continue. The reason that I know this is because if you look at the last number, negative 4, with the last one right here, there's nothing less than negative 4. If I pick negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1, and I can't find a square root of a negative. So it actually ends right there. So I just want to keep that in mind. So that's what my graph looks like. Now, for letter D, I have my cube root equation. I know my cube root equation is going to look something similar to this. So I have that in the back of my mind. With my XY chart, I'm starting off with my domain, which is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. Cube root of 1 is 1. Now, I'm not going to pick 3 because I don't know the cube root of 2. So what I need to do is think of a number that I know the cube root of. So after 1, then the next one I'm going to choose is 8 because I know the cube root of 8 is 2. In order to get me an 8, I'm picking the number 9 because 9 minus 1 is 8. Cube root of 8 is 2. Now, that's so large, I'm not going to pick another one because I kind of have an idea what's happening. I'm getting the tail end of this right here. So I'm just going to stop at 2. Now, if we look at the next one, what we have is a logarithm. With the logarithm, we always have to rewrite it in exponential form. So it becomes 1/2 to the hx is equal to x. Remember, just like before, I'm going to pick my usual -1, 0, 1 for my y's to try to figure this out. If I plug in a -1, it becomes 2. Plug in a 0, anything to the 0 is 1. If I plug in a 1, it stays as a half. This works out really nice because it starts at 2, which this started at 2. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to graph our two different equations. For the first one, what we have is 2, 1. And then what we have is 9, 2, which is way over here. So with the first one, I remember that it's an open circle. So I'm putting my open circle, and it's slowly increasing that way. I'm making sure it's not a straight line. Now with the next one, what I have is 2, negative 1, and I'm putting a closed circle. I have 1, 0, and I have 1/2 1. Now, remember there is a vertical asymptote, so I'm going to draw my vertical asymptote just to kind of remind myself where it's approaching, and it's going in this direction. And that right there is my piecewise function.